Back home now, I gotta figure out what's going on under here, getting some leaks. I've sprayed some degreaser on, and I'm gonna blast that off with some brake cleaner. And then I'm gonna run the car and see if I can pinpoint the high point of the wet oil leak. All right, I got everything really dry with the brake cleaner and degreaser. I'm gonna start the car and see if I can make an oil leak happen. All right, I just turned the engine off. It's been running for probably 10 or 15 minutes. And everything here is still dry around this valve cover. But I was down on the floor looking, and there is a drip right there of clean oil. It's about to fall. There seems to be oil like coming out of the fuel pump. It smells like oil. And then a moment ago I saw some gas dripping, and I couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from. You know, I could almost understand oil coming from this area, but it's completely dry there. The oil seems to be seeping all around the fuel pump right here at this seam. You know, it's bad that you can't trust new parts anymore. And you saw how new that fuel pump looks. So we're going to find out if this one is any better. All right, here's the new fuel pump again. It came with 2 gaskets. All right, I cleaned up that area, the surface that this is going to mount to. And I put a little small smear of this black RTV on one side just to keep it from moving while I'm trying to install it. I cranked the car, as you could see, and I came over here and it was just spewing gas all over the place. So I reached in really quickly and turned the car off. I literally cannot believe what I'm seeing. This is the old fuel pump that I took out of the car. I want you to look at the threads. They go all the way up to the where the flare fits. But on the new one, all right, so as you could see in that last clip, the threads are not cut all the way in like they should be. Unbelievable. This is the original that came off the car. I won't say it's the original, but it's the one that's been on it for a while. And it was a minor nuisance oil leak or something on it. So I decided to put this one on. That's when I discovered the giant fuel leak. I contacted Summit and they sent me another one. Here's the third one. And it has a little bit better threads, but it's still not threaded in all the way like the first one that came off of it. But I'm gonna give this one a shot and report my findings. So this is the third fuel pump, and we're gonna test it and see if it still leaks or not. Oh, I disconnected the battery so nobody would come out here and fooling with the car with no fuel pump on. So. Got it out here on the dry pavement and see if it leaks. Just got back from about a 10-minute cruise. Now the first one, the reason I replaced it in the beginning is it was getting a little ring of oil around the rim here of this and leaking oil. The second one was a complete disaster with the threads. And the third one, I guess this one, third time's a charm. But this just further extends the narrative of just trashy aftermarket parts. Very poor quality. Today I want to do something that is long overdue. The gas tank on this 1970 Monte Carlo is leaking. It only leaks when it is above about a half tank. So for several years, I've just been putting a few gallons in it at a time. It doesn't get driven very much. A little bit of the history on this car. I've had it for about 40 years almost. And at some point in the past, I did put a new gas tank on it. As soon as I put that new gas tank on it is when the problem started. There's a little bit of the evidence of where the gas is leaking. So I've driven a bunch of the gas out of it, and now it's time to pull the gas tank out and take a look. There's still a good bit of gas in this tank, but it's very obvious where the problem is. You can see a crack right here. Very poor workmanship on this tank. It was kind of difficult to get the tank out because of the dual exhaust gets in the way. I'm going to show you the leak. Okay, so zoom into this. And so that is why when I have a half tank or less, it does not leak. For years I thought that the gasket right here had bunched up, or that this didn't tighten up or something like that. But obviously that there's no leakage there. It's really clean. All of, see, the due to the rake of the vehicle being slightly up in the rear, it would cause the leak to come out here and travel along this little pocket here, gutter, and then it would leak at the very front right there. And I was wondering why it would leak there. I'm glad it's not one of the seams of the gas tank. I'm going to look into some cold weld around this tube. JB Weld Cold Weld. They make some stuff that's specifically for gas tanks, I think. Tank looks a lot different now. That's because it was taken to a radiator shop and fixed. Instead of a do-it-yourself job, I figured I would price this. It was $75 to have the tank vatted and cleaned, and then this job done on it. The guy said that it's amazing, these Chinese parts we get, and they're terrible parts, terribly put together, and that this basically had no solder on it whatsoever. We should be in a lot better shape now. Should I paint this? I think so. I think I'm gonna clean it up and repaint it before putting it in, and I'll update. Gonna give it a paint job before I put it back in. Wiped it down with some of this final wipe solvent. I'm gonna paint it. Not really thrilled with the color here of this Rust-Oleum paint, but I'm just gonna keep going. Tank is completely full of gas. Has been all day. No leaks. Mission accomplished. Last time I checked, gasoline is pretty explosive, and we have these companies out here just making trash parts for fuel, a fuel tank, a fuel pump, and it could be disastrous the way that they're building these super low quality parts for these older cars that we love. We love these old cars. That car is very important to me, a lot of sentimental value. So watch every move you make with these trash new parts that are coming out these days. I'll see you guys next time.